Whiskers, you're not going to PolishCon. You need to get off the suitcase. Whiskers, I've been doing this all week. Stop. Hey guys, it's Crystal, and today we're going to do my PolishCon nails. As this video posts, I will actually be traveling to PolishCon with these nails on. Aren't they beautiful? I was going to go with a New York theme, but then I changed my mind. I'm starting off with not a peel-off base coat. This is a real base coat, because we're going to be like real little manicures today, and we're going to stay for 4 days, and then that shit's going, because I don't like to wear a design more than a day. Then I'm going in with Alpine Snow from OPI. This has become my go-to white. You guys give a lot of great one color white suggestions. I just haven't actually purchased any of them yet. That's my fault. My bad. And I'm kind of messy here with this. I'm not neat at all with this white. It got very thick. I actually bought this recently, and it got really thick after 2 uses. Then we're going in with some Simply Peel, like no big deal. And I can actually get this way closer than normal because I'm not using a peel-off base coat. So I can actually put it over the edge of the cuticles and make sure it doesn't stain and I don't get glitter herpes. Next, I'm using 2 colors from ILMP. This first one here is called Walking Home, and then the second one here is called Ballet Slipper, or Ballet Slippers. I can't ever remember if that has an S on it, and I literally just looked at the bottle. Eeks. These are 2 of my favorite mixes, I guess you could call it. I love to mix pinks and purples. Then of course we're doing the dabbing thing. I actually originally was going to do New York themed nails. And then I started going through all my plates and the million vinyls I have laying around, and this one plate caught my eye, and I was like, oh, I want to use this design on here. And then another plate caught my eye, and I thought about putting feathers on them, and I was like, I don't really want feathers. And then, like, this has been a process, okay? This mani has been a process. If you get to see it today at the con, then you should really appreciate the level of ridiculousness that went into making a decision, because there was a lot. After I dab this on, I like to go in with my lighter color and just put a little bit on the tip with a brush so that it still retains its color. Because as you saw when I was dabbing, it was kind of being overwhelmed with just the hollow glitter. And I didn't want the end to just be like silvery hollow looking. I actually still wanted it to be the pink of the ballet slipper. And I dabbed over the top of my freaking... See, I'm going to get glitter herpes because I dabbed over the top of my Simply Peel. But I cleaned it up. Look at that. So fancy. Here I'm going to go in with a quick dry top coat, and I'm doing this because I'm going to stamp on it. I like to use a quick dry top coat over any gradient before I stamp or anything else on it, because then if I mess up the stamping, I can scrape it off or take it off with tape depending on the polish, or even use a little bit of acetone and not ruin my gradient. Then I'm going to slather on some more Simply Peel. And you'll see why, because normally I don't bother with Simply Peel when stamping, but the way I had to stamp this to get the image where I wanted it, like right on that edge, requires it. We're going to use this little lace design. This is from a Bundle Monster, I was about to say a Bundle Monster collaboration plate. One of the extra large Bundle Monster plates. This was actually part of a Valentine's bundle I got. I think this is the Classic Beauty plate. In fact, I'm pretty sure this is the Classic Beauty plate, but I will link it in the description box. Of course, I will link everything in the description box, right down to the stamper and the brush set I use. When I went in with this, I'm not stamping this whole image. As you saw when I was wiping the plate, I only really covered half the image in polish because I don't need the whole image covered in polish. I wanted it off to the side so that it not even covered a whole half of the nail, but just kind of had the lace on the side there. And gives it this beautiful little intricate look. I promise I don't sound like this in person. Those of you going to PolishCon who meet me, can attest to that. Post in the comments and tell people I'm not this weird in person, or I am this weird in person. Maybe, you know what, maybe don't post in the comments, okay? Next we're going to pull out actually, I'm pulling out my Twinkle Tea Glamour mat. I was going to say the Twinkle Tea Glamour mat, but not everyone has one. So a mat, wax paper, whatever you use to do these kinds of things, and we're going to make decals. And then I'm using these star nail vinyls from What's Up Nails. These are really pretty. The thing is, if you looked at the mani in the beginning, each one only had one star. So what do you think we're gonna do with this? Oh, there's my Cinderella hand. Getting a sneak peek of that. I actually did my whole Cinderella hand with a nice little, like, rainbow gradient using the Extreme Weather collection from 90 Lacquer. Yeah, you don't get to see that in this video though. Here I'm using Sally Hansen Insta Dry. It's a really good black that goes on really well thin in one coat. When I've done this with other designs, I was gonna say when I did this on the test run, I didn't actually test run this one though. When I've done this with other designs, the Sally Hansen streaks less than the other ones when using it on the mats. Because sometimes when you pull the vinyl up, it streaks a little. And then you have to go in with a tiny cleanup brush and fix the streaks for what you're trying to do. And I just didn't want to deal with that. I really didn't. I literally recorded this the night of my flight because I waited till such a last minute to pick a design. And then I'm using my HK Girl top coat from Glisten and Glow. This is my favoriteest top coat, and I have that giant bottle that has the gems on it that's all pretty and fancy. I need to get some more in the little bottles to travel with. Once you do that, you just peel the stars up. Let them dry, obviously. I never say that. Maybe I should start saying that. I don't ever say it because I figure, you know, people know. Then I'm going to use tiny scissors to cut out the stars I want specifically. I'm using my only pair of cuticle scissors I own, and I don't cut my cuticles, so I don't even know why I own these. But I want some of those fancy scissors I always see Sveta Sanders using. And I don't know where she got those, but I need some of those fancy magical Russian scissors she has that cut decals so well. And ta-da, your one little star. I cut out individual stars because this thing has some small stars and some really huge ones. Then I'm using my tiny Twinkle Tea brush. I will link the brush set this comes from. And I'm using just a little bit of top coat and dabbing it on the nail. And then going in and using the dotting tool that comes with that set, same brush set, and sticking the stars onto that and then pressing them down with my finger. I did it this way because my nails are tiny. They don't look that way in videos, but I have really tiny hands, so my nails aren't as wide as some people's, and I needed the really tiny stars, and it was just easier for me to cut them out of this than to use 5 different vinyls to fill in one star, potentially mess things up, have to start over. It was less for me to spend the time cutting than to do all of that. And then once you have your star on, you put on another layer of some glossy top coat. Once again, I'm using HK Girl from Glisten and Glow. It's shiny and it doesn't shrink. I do use Seche Vite all the time when swatching, but it shrinks. I don't have the swatching polish on long enough for it to shrink, so that's why it's my go-to for swatching. This is my go-to for actual manicures. And then it's so pretty! Look at how beautiful it is! I'm so in love with it. These are my best designs come at times like this when I'm like, I don't know what I want to do, and I just go through my stuff and I find some things and I feel inspired and I'm like, these would go really well together. I want to do this. Best designs ever. Anyways, for anyone going to PolishCon, I'm so excited to meet you guys. I've gotten messages from people. I've had people on Instagram, Facebook, everywhere telling me like how excited they are. This is going to be awesome. You know, if you like this mani, give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time or at PolishCon.